Welcome to an exciting tutorial on Anime Studio Pro 11. This is a fantastic piece of software that's easy enough to learn for just hobbyists and enthusiasts, but it has some fantastic pro-level tools that allow you to go ahead and export into real pro workflows if you want to. So what do we cover? That would be the prudent question. Of course, we show you how the tools work, but really important is the why. I work in 2D animation and 3D animation professionally, and really like to live and die by shortcuts and time-saving features that this program has a ton of. I teach to that, not just showing you here's a tool, but here's why you would use it, here's when to use it, those types of things that make life a little bit easier. The entire series culminates with a final project that happens to be, well, some forest nymphs floating above a little pond. Now you might look at this and go, hey, whoa, I don't do flying nymphs in the forest. That's okay. I work in multiple styles. I'm kind of an art mercenary. And the point of this demonstration is simply to show the integration of a lot of things Anime Studio Pro does really well. By the time you're done with this project that ends the series, you'll be able to work with referenced figures where you can update multiple figures based on a single update, draw and create looping animations inside of a main animation, special effects like glinting water here. We integrate photographs and animate those. We've got depth of field going on. There is a ton of stuff that we pull off in here that allows you to work with both content generated in the program and outside of the program. Just some real world stuff. We also touch on a little bit of scene building in terms of drawing a sketch. I do one in color. You don't have to do that, but it is important to have things like that to get a good sense of, well, here's what the scene's going to look like. When it comes to character development, we only work on the character on the left right here, but how you figure out, okay, if I do multiple characters, what kind of consistency do I need to bring in? More importantly, how do I divide up this body in a way that I can actually animate it? Where do I create separations? How do we use some of the special tools to hide where lines are and all sorts of things like that to make the program work or the characters look correct? Then finally, of course, we get into the animation of it, where and when we build certain files, when we integrate them, things like that, real world stuff. So we do start out showing out some of the unique features of the program. The interface changes depending on tools you have selected, so you're never confronted with a ton of tools, but they disappear if you select another tool, and that can be something you need to learn as you get into it. Anime Studio Pro also has some fantastic drawing tools to work with inside the program, but there's times you might want to bring in drawings from another digital drawing program like Adobe Illustrator. I talk about why. And also we cover how to work and why to work sometimes with imported bitmap images, different formats you bring those into. A very powerful feature of Anime is styles. You can create all sorts of borders, fills, change them, mix them, but more importantly than creating them is reusing them, how you save them and bring that consistency across multiple characters, multiple scenes, that type of stuff as you get into it. Also, in the context of learning some of the tools, I like to show some tricks to the trade about how you integrate them to have things like, in this case, a green ball go down a little hole in the scene. So specialty masking tricks, things like that. Also, if you need some 3D perspective in your scene, you don't have to make life hard. You can actually draw it in 2D inside of Anime Studio Pro and then cast that into 3D space. Real great time savers. So things like that. When it comes to actually rigging the characters, there's multiple ways. Layer binding, point binding, why you would do that sometimes, other times you wouldn't. When you get to little features like stroke exposure, well, that's nice to know, but how do you use it? So we give some examples of how you might integrate something like that. Also, a fantastic new addition is layer comps. This allows you to take a single scene, and in this case, we look at how to convert it between nighttime and daytime scenes with special tricks for that so that you can, again, bring consistency and change elements like that with just a couple clicks of the mouse. We do have switch layers we work with for a special kind of animation, and also we talk about lip syncing. There's a great tool inside the program that allows you to lip sync audio with your characters automatically, and that sometimes is worth its weight in gold. We can bring in 3D content from other applications and work with it. We can either render it out so it looks like the 3D that it came from, or we can stylize it to look like 2D as well. And Smith has another program called Poser. You can bring in pre-animated poser files right into Anime Studio Pro, make them look like 2D files, and render and work with them in the scene. Tremendous time saving. Additionally, there's things like particle generators that you can make explosions, smoke, rain. In this case, we work on a waterfall. And then there's some nice tools too with single assets in a scene. Completely change how they look when you render it out. Nice time-saving features. and fun little toys like match moving, where you can take video into the program. The program will figure out what is moving inside the video, and then you can match animations in Anime Studio Pro that links up with that and looks like it belongs in the scene. So this is a fantastic program. You're really going to be rewarded going through this tutorial because it helps you hit the ground running. With that, let's go ahead and get into the software and figure out how we can make the best use of Anime Studio Pro.